Hello, Olson Outdoors here, and we're going to be talking some more fire. I found some of this the other day. I was splitting some firewood, and there's like this really rotten, punky stump, and there's like this vein of sap that was all sucked up in there, like this. And I noticed a lot of, like, I have my own way of starting fires, which you've seen. A lot of the YouTubers I watch, Dino, Nathan4071, Snow Fog Outdoors, they use this stuff called fat wood, and I'm like, man, what's fat wood? Is that like, do you render down fat and like put dried wood in there and it soaks up the fat? I didn't know what it was, and I never Googled it because I already had my method. And then when I was splitting this log the other day, this kind of popped out. And I was like, man, that looks like what they're calling fat wood. So then I decided to Google it, and sure enough, this is fat wood. It is either Douglas fir or spruce. I'm not sure. It looks like one, and the fibers act like another, and then the color looks like one. So if you can tell by looking, that would be great. But I mean, look at that vein on there. That is just pure old ancient sap from like this tree that was basically just crumbling apart. So I'm gonna just try starting a fire with it. I've already started some fires, so it works amazing. It blew my mind, and I like it, the idea of it, because then you eliminate the jute twine, which is also something that, like, if it was an apocalyptic event, or, well, not apocalyptic, but if you couldn't get jute twine, you could. It's always good to have another option to start fires. I mean, starting fires, it's awesome. So let's just get into it. I'm going to show you how I start a fire with this. We'll see if I can do it. It's kind of new to me, so let's just hope for the best. And again, the other day, someone asked me, hey, where's that Mora Garberg you unboxed? I don't have a ferro rod for it. I'm still kind of shopping around, trying to find the right size. I don't want to go too big and have it to be something too heavy and too big for my pack, because I watch the weight when I'm backpacking and stuff. And I don't want it to be so small that it's awkward to use with the knife. So for now, it's my trusty EDC knife. And let's get into it. So how I've been doing this is just taking some shavings with the back of the knife. Again, if you don't know about Mora, they always put a really sharp edge on the back of their knives, whether it's the Garberg or the Eldris, which is their two new ones. And it doesn't take much. Like, you just scrape off a little bit, and it's amazing how flammable this stuff is. I guess it's something called terpene, which is like your turpentine, and apparently really flammable. So I like to do a little bit with the front, some larger pieces, and then some spark catching shavings on the back. I probably use more than I have to because it is new for me. And that's the challenge that I love about fires, is how efficient can I do it. The first time I started a fire with a ferro rod, took me 2 hours. And my friend and I, we were doing that, and we had a rule, and it was you couldn't Google how to do it, and just with the knowledge you have right now, could you do it? And it took my buddy about 2.5 hours. I got mine started about 15 minutes before he did, but it was a terrible experience, newspaper, all that stuff. But yeah, we did that, I dialed it in till I got it down to a one-strike system, and I love the efficiency. So I know that this isn't really efficient right now. I should be able to start this fire with a fraction of that, but it's new, and I'm going to start working on efficiency. So I got some shavings, and then I'm going to take a few slivers, and maybe take the slivers off of a section that's not like the amazing, the sap stuff, you know what I mean? So you save the beautiful stuff. As Nick Shabazz would say, it's really a beautiful thing. Alright, so there I got my shavings. I got some pre-cut kindling over here. and let's see if we can get this thing going. Alright, so a couple strikes. It burns fast, so you gotta be quick. That's one thing I learned for sure. And I hope I got these little pieces of kindling small enough to catch. If not, baby it along. This is the part of fire building that I think most people know, is the small kindling stuff. Get it in there. Burns up in a hurry. And I don't wanna lose my fire here. These are some little cutoffs that were like next to the fat wood, but they weren't the actual fat wood, so there's like some saturation, which really helps. If I was in a forest situation, I would use something like maybe birch bark, which is one of my favorites. If you've seen my videos, you know how much I like the flammable properties of birch bark. And these are all little spruce or pine thingies on there. I mean, that's huge though. I wouldn't go backpacking with that. I gotta process it down, maybe stick a paracord through it or something cheesy like that. But yeah. And there's the fat wood fire. I'm sure there's a million jokes to be made about fat wood, but I'll leave that up to the other powers of the internet. And there you go. And that's the other thing too. When you're starting a fire, and I was talking about efficiency, if this didn't have a rod in the handle, I would carry a Bic lighter. And I hate when I hear people diss a Bic lighter, because basically it's the same thing. You got a steel roller, a little mini ferrocerium rod, and they just said, hey, let's use, a little canister of butane or something instead of these other fuels like terpene and birch bark or whatever. So it's basically the same thing. It's really efficient, it's small, it's pocketable. Don't ever diss a Bic, and it's probably one of the best EDC survival things, fire starters, you could do. I think the downside to them is the loss of fuel from the little thumb tab. So yeah, just putting in a little word for the good old Bic lighter, which I've retired a while ago, but still carry in my vehicles and that sort of thing, because it's basically just a small version of a steel and a ferro rod. This one happens to have it in the handle, so I feel confident going around without a Bic, as long as I have my knife in there. And there you got it. There's your fat wood fire. Again, it's just beautiful. I know I'm rambling on, but have a great day, and I look forward to more videos well, this is the new year, so I guess in the next little bit. Peace out.